Hi loves, welcome back to another plan with me video. It's crazy that we're already planning for April because I feel like I just posted my March plan with me, but in this series we set intentions, we set goals, and we make sure our systems are in place so that we can actually accomplish those intentions and goals. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Angel. I'm a tech marketing director turned creative business owner and content creator. I always start my planning session in my journal where I write my ins and outs, my intentions, how the month has gone. So let's do a little bit of journaling together and then we'll chat about it. Did my monthly review and some planning journaling. So March in review, the things that I wrote that I was really grateful for in March, which I think it's really important to always have a gratitude list in your review for the month. But my gratitude list includes my health, which was the number one thing because I got food poisoning at the end of March and it was brutal. It was such a nice reminder that I should really not take advantage of my health and that I need to continue to take care of my body well. So my health was number one. Communication I wrote as number two. I also wrote nice weather because it has been slowly getting to spring weather. Clear mind, that has also been another thing that I'm super thankful for. I was dealing with so much brain fog at the end of last year that it's just such a blatantly clear difference when the brain fog has lifted. And I think the reason that it has lifted is because I am taking better care of myself, is because I'm not overstressing myself and overwhelming myself with work, and I'm being very, very strategic and systematic with how much work I'm doing, how much time I'm spending in work, and all of that. I also have mini resets, coffee dates, creativity, friends, studios, collabs. So thankful for all the cool brands that I'm getting to work with this year. And then of course my management team. Oh my God, I am so thankful for my management team who have been helping me out so much with just like contracts and pitching and all of that. So definitely loving and very thankful for them. Under what went well, I wrote staying on top of taking care of myself. My Substack, I wrote a lot on my Substack in March. If you don't know, I do have two newsletters. One is my Feel Good Sundays newsletter where we talk about productivity, tech recommendations. It's more that side of my life. And then I have my Coffees with Angel Substack, which is more of my personal stuff, like what I'm wearing, my monthly favorites, stuff like that. So I'll link both of those in the description box below if you're interested in checking them out. I also wrote hanging out with friends. I made it a goal in the month of March to at least have one friend hang out every single week, which seems like really little, but I think when you're at this kind of age, when you're in your late 20s or early 30s and everyone has these big careers and big plans and partners that they're with, it does get a little bit harder to plan hangouts. So once a week I want to see at least one of my friends, and that has been so rewarding. I can't even begin to describe how it's made me feel. Purging. I did a lot of purging in the month of March. I'm going to continue to do that in the month of April. And then I also wrote content. I was feeling really proud of my content schedule, of the content that I was putting out up until that week that I was sick, and then I pretty much just fell behind and everything kind of fell to shit. So something to catch up on during April, but I was feeling really good about it. Under what could have gone better, I wrote fitness, fun, and taking care of Mika. It rained a lot in March, and when it is storming outside, I do not do good enough of a job of getting out there and going for those longer walks. So as the weather gets better, I have no excuse not to take her out every single day for like a big park day or a big trail walk or something very exciting, just so both of us are getting that outdoor time and that exercise. That adds to my fitness goal as well, and it adds to my fun goal as well. But just in general, I feel like those three things were the things that I didn't feel the best about in March, so I want to bring those over to April and hopefully fulfill them a little bit more. Every month I also do an ins list and an outs list. Under my ins list for April, I wrote deeper communication, more Pilates, music, purging, planning, moving with purpose, the 20%, and believing in myself. Communication is always something that I want to work on with the people that I love. And then of course there is a lot of stuff around like planning and content and moving with purpose, because I just want to make sure that I'm not no longer doing any random acts of marketing. I want the content that I'm making to have a purpose, to have value. I want the articles that I'm writing, the podcast episodes that I'm writing, like just everything I do, I want it to be aligned with who I am, what my goals are, but also be helpful to anyone who wants to watch them. That was a big reason I wanted to create this Plan With Me series, is because I'm already doing these planning sessions monthly. So why am I not sharing the process with you so that we can do them together? We can plan for the month, we can plan for the quarter together and just help each other accomplish our goals. Isn't that fun? Okay, under outs, I wrote messaging people who don't deserve your attention. I'm gonna leave that one at that. I also wrote stress, disorganization, listening to negativity. And then the last one I wrote stressing because of someone else or something else. This month I really want to embody, I think it's called like the serenity quote. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but it's something along the lines of just letting go of the things that you cannot control and doing the best in what you can control. I know that's not what the quote says at all, but I think it's the general meaning of the quote, but really just not letting the things that I cannot control, like other people, like work situations, work fires, work emergencies, other people's timelines affect the way that I feel, because I can't do anything about them. Like, it's genuinely out of my control. But the things that are within my area of control, I want to make sure that I'm doing the best at them, that I'm showing up for them, that I am being the best version of myself for those things, and that I'm putting my effort in the right areas, on the right tasks, on the right projects, in the right people, like just making sure that I am in control of the things that I should be in control of. Under intentions, I did a quick list and I wrote reset, plan, teamwork, delegate, no stress, more proactive, brand aligning, and prioritizing relationships. But then something that I did differently this month was I actually drew out a little mind map. I've been really enjoying mind maps lately. So in the middle, I have April intentions, and then I split it up into 4 sections. So I have relationships. Under relationships, I wrote planning dates, more friend time. Under work, I wrote hire editor, more pitches, monthly 5, think about products, brandable and brand aligned content. Then under health, I wrote walk daily, less carbs, so like not eating carbs at dinner, and then move 4 times a week for a minimum of 30 minutes. And then lastly, I wrote the move, because I am planning an international move for the end of this year, and there are still a lot of things that I need to work on and plan and just prepare for that move. So under that category, I wrote continue my keep store move list, create financial plan, get closet sorted, and start selling my furniture. All very exciting stuff. Honestly, there's things that I wrote for this month that I didn't even really think about until I started to do this brain dump journaling, but that's the purpose of starting with that brain dump journaling, is to get everything that might be in your conscious mind and might even be in your subconscious mind down onto paper, so that we can take this brain dump now and go into our Notion planning. Before we dive into Notion, I wanted to quickly also show you something that I started to do this month that has been kind of a fun creative outlet for me, and I think if you have been looking for just like an easy creative hobby to do, this could be something you do too. But I started a junk journal, scrapbook journal, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, I just took a journal with blank pages and I've started to stick in magazine clippings, ad clippings, brand things, receipts, like just random things that I've collected that I find inspiring in some way. So on the very first page, I really wanted to use this like flower that I cut out from a magazine. And then I also started to cut out like magazine articles. This was a coaster I got from Cafe Arabica in Whistler when I went with my friend. I also added some magazine clippings of like cities that I love. So like Berlin, this is Milan, did little notes and stuff. Here I included the little card that came in one of my blind boxes. I stuck the receipts of some of the like cafes and stores that I visited that I really liked. It's just kind of cute and like kind of random, but it has been such a fun thing to think about and to work on. It's super low carry, it feels easy, and it's just such an enjoyable way to get a little bit of fun journaling in. So if you haven't tried to junk journal or scrapbook journal before, would highly recommend it. It's bringing me a lot of joy. I'm not gonna lie, since I got sick, I have not been looking at my monthly goals enough, but let's go through it together. So in March, some of my goals were enforce planning date nights bi-weekly, did that. One friend date per week, I did that. We're off to a good start. Move 4 times a week. I did that up until I got sick, so I'm gonna check it off because genuinely I was like bedridden with food poisoning and there was no way I was gonna get down on the mat and do mat Pilates during that time. Meditate daily, something I did do up until I got sick as well. No phones in the morning. Oof, I have not been doing that well. That one needs to be moved into April because I do not feel good about my phone usage right now. I have been reaching for my phone first thing in the morning and I do not like that habit. So we're gonna keep that one in. No by March. I did really good with no by March. We're gonna check that off. I feel really good about doing that no by month, and I think I'm gonna also do a low by April and just focus on saving money as much as I can and only buying things if they are things that are on my wish list, which I can talk a little bit more about as we write out our April goals. Under career, we had move with purpose. Every piece of content must have a reason, claim, or purpose. Did that. Create org chart based on eMyth Revisited. I actually did not get to that in March, so I will move that to April. Revisit business plan, make changes, complete that. Did not get to that. Under life, I wrote book, Italy, Airbnb, and make a decision. This one is checked off. Learning Sundays, I actually didn't really execute. I decided to just use Sundays for rest, but maybe that's something I want to move to April. Write an Italian journal daily. Did not do that, but I think I might change that goal. And then last one was catalog all items that I want to sell. I did actually start doing that. There is more to do, but that one's worth checking off. Okay, we're gonna take a quick second. I'm gonna write down my goals for April. If you're doing this planning session with me, use this time to write down your goals as well. All right, I copied over my intentions from my journal and then wrote down all of the goals that I want to accomplish in April. So I have, under personal, 1 weekly friend date. I'm going to continue that tradition and just keep it going. I also wrote intentional date time with partner. We spend a lot of time together at home, obviously, because we live together, but I just feel like we don't have like intentional time carved out for planning for life or just doing fun things. So I want to make sure that we do more of that in April. Under health, I wrote no carbs at dinner. I just find that when I carb load at dinner time, it always makes me feel like it's harder to sleep. I just feel more bloated in the morning, and the times that I actually didn't eat carbs at dinner and kind of just had my heavier carb meals in the daytime really helped my body. So that's something that I want to focus on for April. Continuing on with my move 4 times a week, I think that that's a really good amount for me. Actually, I'm gonna add for a minimum of 30 minutes. And then under that, I just wrote walk daily unless there is a storm. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the weather is just gonna get better and better, which means that we will be able to do longer and longer walks. Under finance, I wrote low by April only from wish list. So I do have a running wish list that I save everything that I want, that I maybe window shopped for or saw in a store, so that I can keep track of the items and I'm not ever impulse buying. If you want me to go over my wish list with you, let me know, because that could be a separate video that I make. But a big goal of mine this year is actually to like use that wish list even more and to make sure that I'm never buying anything that isn't from that wish list. Because if I'm just randomly buying an item that isn't from my wish list, it probably is an impulse purchase. My wish list is pretty curated. It is filled with things that I feel like might be missing from my wardrobe. I also like to keep things that I've been eyeing in there, just kind of as like a holding space. I don't think I'm gonna do another no buy month for April. I'm gonna do a low buy month. So just trying my best not to make any impulse purchases, which is gonna include stationery, books, tech, and just only purchasing things that I have well considered and that have lived in my wish list and that I'm being very intentional with my purchases. I also did create a financial plan for my Europe move. I haven't actually sat down and like mapped out a financial plan yet, and that's something that I need to obviously chat with my partner about as well. So that's something I want to get done in April. Under career, I wrote hire and onboard an editor. I'm already in chats with an editor that I'm very excited to work with, so that is kind of in the process already, but I want to get that done in April. Reset my business processes, Notion reset, those kind of fall hand in hand, but just look at all the processes and all the systems that I have from a business and just make sure that they are as efficient as possible. Monthly 5 and Move with Purpose are kind of similar as well. Monthly 5 really is just talking about creating pieces of content that are brandable, that will show the brands that I want to work with, my dream brands that I am a good partner to potentially work with. And then Move with Purpose is just, again, making sure that every piece of content of mine has a claim, an objective, has value, and is adding something positive to the world. The last thing I wrote under career is to get 1 month ahead of content planning. This has been hard for me, I'm not gonna lie, but I think that I will be able to do it in April. Lastly, under the life category, I wrote start selling furniture and finish closet purge. Again, that is just moving me towards this move that I'm really hoping to do at the end of the year. And if I want to do it by the end of the year, now is the time to actually get serious about getting rid of things, about purging, and just making sure that I am getting to that place where I can start packing and figuring out what I want to move with me. Okay, moving on to our quarterly OKRs, aka my 2025 life OKRs. I didn't add any objectives this month. It's still my move, learning a language, shifting to an entirely whole foods and healthy diet, follow a strict savings and spending budget. The move, we'll talk about the move another time, okay? I'm still kind of like deciding between cities. It's a bit crazy. So in my quarterly planning on this side, we are officially in Q2. That is crazy to think about, but as of April, we are in quarter number 2. So April, May, and June is Q2, which means I better have gotten all my Q1 goals done. Now, there are definitely a few things that kind of fell out of my control that I need to move to Q2, but let's go through it together. In Q1, I was able to follow my budget. I was able to book an apartment for the visa, create a savings and spending budget, research what eating whole foods really means. I learned so much about eating healthy in Q1, and I'm really, really proud of that progress. I'm like learning more about healthy eating and taking care of my body than I have in my entire life. Like, it's been a really, really good quarter for that. And then I did create my meal plan. The things I haven't done yet that I need to do are book flights. That needs to be done ASAP, and I need to be able to book a refundable flight. It's a lot. Complete A1 for language learning. I was not able to do that in Q1, but I really want to get that done in Q2. So we're moving that over and we're prioritizing it. Know by March, I did that. I feel really proud about it. And then change health insurance. So I booked health insurance, or I bought health insurance in Q1, but I actually do need to change something in my policy because I realized it doesn't work for my visa specifically. So we need to do that in Q2. So here are my Q2 goals. Book flights. I'm actually gonna make the due date for this also next week because that needs to get done sooner rather than later. I also have follow Q2 budget, create financial plan for Europe. I would like the due date for that to be by the end of April. Carbless dinners, kind of broad, I know, but it's just a general goal that I want to really follow, so I'm gonna keep that in there. Sell unused furniture. By unused, I mean stuff that I don't use often. Like, I'm obviously not gonna sell my desk until the very last moment because it's something that I use every single day, but if I have, let's say, like a love seat or something that I just don't really use that much, I would like to start getting rid of those pieces because it's just gonna save me a lot of headache when it comes time to move. So I'm actually gonna make that for the end of April. Finish closet purge. I'm actually nearly done my closet purge. I have a whole video created around this. So I think that will be done in the next 2 weeks or so. And then lastly, apply for French visa. The due date for this actually needs to be in June. And the reason it needs to be in June is because I kind of want to move by September, and you're only able to apply for your visa 3 months before your move date, which means I just can't even do it right now, even though I want to. And then for Q3 and Q4, I have a few things that I've added to there since the last time that we did a plan with me. I have I added sell remaining furniture and pack away store items, and then in Q4 we will be moving. Crazy. I feel like when I look at my yearly goals in this way, it doesn't seem like they're massive things, but 2025 is going to be one of the biggest years of my life because of all the changes that are coming. So it's kind of nice being able to break it down into quarters and be like, yeah, I got this. Like, that seems pretty doable, when in reality, all of these steps are taking me to some massive, massive goals. So that is my April planning. Thank you for sitting with me and doing this with me. I am feeling energized and excited, as my planning sessions usually make me feel. I do have my exact goal setting Notion template, both the monthly and the quarterly, linked in the description box below. So if you want to also use this template to plan your life with me, then please do. I will be obviously doing this every single month. So I want you to take this time as time for you to also plan out your month and to do your monthly reviews and to check in with yourself and to check in with your goals, because yes, as much as I want to share like what I'm working on and how I'm working on those things, I hope you're learning little processes and pieces that also help you organize your life as well. I feel like in May, maybe I might start adding to my quarterly goals and adding some new objectives specifically around my business. I realized this month while looking at the quarterly goals that so much of those goals are life related, which is great because that's what I want to focus on. But I do have some business goals that I want to plan out as well. But I will kind of save that for once I have a little bit more of this move figured out, so that I'm not just like completely overwhelming myself with goals. I hope you enjoyed planning with me this month. I would love to know what your #1 goal is for this month, or maybe just a couple of your goals are for this month, so that we can keep each other accountable. So drop them in the comments down below. Other than that though, I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you're in the world, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!